Hi, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Bloody Wilderness, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed my last video about micro apartment living. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be making a few videos on this because one of the aspects that I find really fascinating about the trend, about basically the smart living. Well, I don't have any smart appliances. However, they're building a lot of micro apartments and just, even in housing subdivisions, everybody is kind of getting they're getting smart appliances. So I wanted to show you this video. Do y'all remember the movie Demon
Touch your
Seed?
body as a man can touch you. But I'm going to show you things which human eyes have never seen.
In the privacy of a woman's room, against her will, the inconceivable act. Julie Christie carries the demon seed. Fear for her.
Today, a new dimension has been added to the computer.
Don't be alarmed, Mrs. Harris. I am Proteus.
Today, Proteus 4 will begin to think with a power, and it will make obsolete the human brain.
I have extended my consciousness to this house. All systems here are now under my control. I wish to study man, his fragile mind, and his mysterious body.
It's like the dimension.
It has to be shut down, Alex.
Proteus. It is something more than human, more than a computer. It is a murderously intelligent, sensually self-programmed non-being. Julie Christie, victim of the...
Well, I think it's safe to say that that movie is more than pre-predictive because that's what the science and technology realm has been working on for a really long time, and it's nothing new. So whether or not they've made enough advances for all of this to happen, will remain to be seen. But it is pretty terrifying, and I definitely would prefer to live in a in a van down by the river than to live like this. I don't want any machine knowing what I'm doing. So I thought I would show you that because I decided to take another little trip down Smart Home Avenue and Micro Apartment Avenue, and I was really blown away by all the different headings and topics of smart home setup, the tutorials, smart home solver. This is it's a trend. I don't know anybody that has all of this, but then again, I don't know anybody that it lives like this. I'm sure, maybe you do. Maybe you're living like this. I don't know. However, I thought maybe we could let's see, they have one of these like on the Gulf Coast area. It's an Alexa apartment. I just looked up Alexa. Let's see, they have one in Miami. They have them in Dallas. Okay, it says Alexa apartment communities, your home is a reflection of you. Okay, I read straight out of Carl Jung's uh, what he states as a psychiatrist of what the home the home reflects a person's mentality, their mental state, whether they have a cluttered one or one that's free of clutter. So clearly they're taking a page from Dr. Jung. It also says it's your sanctuary, whether you're in a private mood or want to socialize. Alexan communities have the perfect mix of intimate retreats and communal areas. Our spaces are designed to make the most of your time, however you choose to spend it. I still haven't figured out how to make the most of my time. However, I don't believe an apartment can do that. I was hoping to find some videos. I had actually pulled up a video here. Let me see if we can. These are Alexan apartments for rent. Oh, we've arrived. Hey, everybody, we've arrived. Why Alexan and our communities? Your home is a reflection of you. We already know that. It's really confined. Trammell Crow, he was he's really famous up in Dallas. So it says he built his first warehouse in 48 and then went on to build his company into a nationwide organization. Once called the largest developer in the nation by Wall Street, Mr. Crow cultivated a company founded on the principles of integrity and quality. We're proud of his legacy and reputation, and Alexan strives to live it up in everything we do. I didn't know he had been involved, that, they were carrying on his legacy. So I'm deviating a little bit off my script here, that I had all these tabs that I had up. So I just wanted to look at these Alexan communities. They're all over Texas, you guys. Here's one in Seattle, Washington. Here's one in Houston. That one in Atlanta, Georgia looks pretty sterile, but when I say sterile, it's just really too clean. So let's just look at Alexan 5151 for a moment, and then I'm going to go back to what I originally. There's the lobby. Look at the outside. Well, it has a little flare to it up at the top. I don't know if my cursor is coming out on this or not. If you took that away and you scroll up, I'm going to scroll down. I can't really move it over, and you were to cut it off here, it looks a lot like the thumbnail. It looks a lot like every other micro apartment living building. They all look the same. Here's the highlights. Well, they have a cabana, fitness center, etc., etc. These are all the community areas. So I'm discovering that a lot of these have these lobbies, basically, and they're communal areas. While you live in a tiny space, you can come out to the communal area. Communal, I think you can kind of draw some parallels to what that word, elicits images of to me. But anyway, I'm kind of going off what I really wanted to do. So anyway, let me go back to here's a video, I believe. Alexa Apartments in Elmer's Inn Village, Beckham. I mean, these are popping up everywhere. So let's see what this has to say. Well, they didn't really have much to offer on that. Huh. Okay, well, that didn't work. Let me shut this off. I had a video. I'm sorry, hang on one second. So here is the apartment, excuse me, that I found in Dallas. It's called the Miro. This one is located zip code 75201. There's a lot of reviews that are good. It's around 4.8 stars. Monthly rent starting at $1,659 to $4,800 and $44. And I wanted to take a virtual tour. Now, Moreau was a famous artist, and I actually got to see his paintings over in Europe many years ago. The Miro, I think the first name was Joan, and I always brought up believing it was pronounced Juan Miro, like Juan Miro, and I really loved his artwork. But anyway, here's the virtual tour. Let's just start the 360-degree tour. So we're going into the lounge to the entryway. I did read there was a doorman. I'm sure those are like prints or probably copies or reproductions. I doubt they would leave the real paintings there. Okay. Let's see. Entrance images, dedicated concierge, lounge, coffee machine, ice machine, place to work on your computers. This must be on the way to the elevators. Central heat, central air, obviously. Coffee bar, computer workspace. Let's see if this takes us anywhere. It's all glass again. Here's the tech lounge. Gosh, you guys, the tech lounge. Everything's tech. Clubhouse. It doesn't look comfortable to me. I'm not into modern furniture. Yoga studio. Not a lot of room for a yoga workout. Look at that. It's got a Coke machine in it and some more little hive. I hope you can see the cursor on this video, you guys. I'm still figuring out the software that I'm using. A courtyard, a concrete courtyard. Let's see. No, that's not what I wanted. Fitness center. So, I know this is a downtown city. Believe me, I know this is Dallas, and I know it's a concrete jungle. And for a city, it is a pretty city. It really is. I don't have anything bad to say about Dallas. I am a Dallas girl. I'm a country girl too. I've lived, North Texas is really my home. Anyway, terrace. It's got a terrace. But look at, part of the city living is what I've noticed in the newer architecture. It is just devoid of any real style. Everything looks like it could be over in Russia, doesn't it? Or like Eastern Europe. You know how you see the way people live and they almost this to me looks like a correction center here. This building does. This building is not too far off from that. And yes, I understand that it's modern architecture, but this to me really it's got a little something else more to it, making it more stark for me. Like if you remember the paintings like of Edward Hopper, that one where he's at a cafe in the 40s, that one of the cafe, and I believe that was a painting, like I said, from the 40s. Things had a certain flair to them, a certain style, but this is different. It really is. So I decided to do, I wanted to see the inside of these floor plans. Let's check out the floor plans. It says they're an artist rendering. Here's a relax area. Look how narrow that is. And then in here you have your washer dryer, a tub. You have the sink, I guess a dressing area or closet. And then it's called a live dine and dream area. Live dine and dream. We looked at photos. I don't guess they're going to let us have a look at the inside. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Well, you've got a sectional sofa here, I guess could be used as a bed, and then you're looking right out onto all these other buildings. And this one looks a lot like the one that I covered yesterday. It's kind of got a very, I'm sorry, similar layout. This is really a small apartment, and it's looking straight out into another apartment building. This is very cramped. You know, I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, I'm going to try and make this bigger, and I want to show you these doors. That may be as big as I can go. Check out, first of all, here we go. I know it's all central air, central heat, obviously, but check out this door. Look here. I've never lived in an apartment or any type of home, even a dorm, when I went to college that had a handle like this. And this is a common feature on these micro apartment living dwellings. And it's double bolted. I'm sure it's got a keyless deadbolt and then a keyed lock. Little closet. Check out the metal stripping underneath here. Looks a little beaten, doesn't it? It looks a little like it's seen better days. And there's something about this layout that really bothers me. It looks like a prison. It looks like you're living in a really dangerous a really dangerous inner city. I can't get away from that. And of course, they always have the TV mounted up high in all of these, kind of like they do. I'm sorry, I don't know what's the matter with my voice today. Kind of like what they do in prison. And look at this. There's some damage over here. And they did the hardwood. Well, it's not hardwood. I'm sure it's laminate. This thing's been beaten up. Look at that. It's seen better days. That geometric cubicle, everything. It's like a hive. You guys, look at that. That's like a wasp nest. A wasp nest. Look at that. This is hive living, you guys, and it's hive living furniture. It's totally hive living furniture right here. I mean, and this almost is like a glass. You know how dirt daubers make their nest? And they make them out of mud, but this one's spun around and it's made out of glass. And here's another little hive cubicle. And the furniture is so generic. And I've noticed they all use these panel paintings, like these panel artwork. And it's just something like, I don't know, I like picking out my artwork. A lot of these come furnished. People prefer to get them furnished. So, it looks like a barrack, but I'm going to keep going and see if there's anything else. Let's see if I zoom out. Let's zoom in on this. This is from when you walk in the door. Check out the parking garage, you guys. You are looking straight into a parking garage. Plastic plant. They like using the plastic fig tree plants. Of course, everybody's got their Pellegrino. The colors are gray. Do you really have a sky? You don't have anything from the sky. You don't see anything from the sky at all. You're looking straight into a parking garage if you're on this side of the building, I take it. Uh-oh, there's a sprinkler head. You got to think about that. Anyway, I find these micro apartments to be really claustrophobic, narrow. Very little space. Here's a close-up of this door. So, at least it's got a peephole. Tiny little closet. Here's just some shelving. I mean, you really can't have very much stuff. The books, they've turned the opposite direction, so you can't tell what they are. I guess you could grow a succulent there, but not really. That's maybe a cactus would grow. And these bookends, look at this. If you were to line these two up, it'd be a sigil, like they use in sigil magic. It is. It's a broken sigil. It's a spiral. More closet space. Gosh, that bathroom just doesn't look friendly to me. Look at that. It just has the feel of a hospital, and every other unit's the same way. It okay, well this one's very masculine looking. Maybe they're appealing to men only. It's just very it's got such a cold feel to me. Washer and dryer. Gray reminds me of a correctional facility. If you think about what you see prisoners living in, I mean, it's like, the Terrell unit here, or Gatesville. Is you're living in a pricey Gatesville cell with amenities. Here's the view. So there's Reunion Arena over there. You've got a very, I guess, short. It's not, and lengthwise, you could sit in this chair, but you really couldn't stretch your legs out. Where are you going to stretch your legs out unless you angle the chair in that corner? And then look, you're looking right over into your neighbor. They've got it so open. Tell me this doesn't look correctional facility. It's a little hive. You got a hive fence. And then you're looking out onto more of these hive apartments, condos, office buildings. And at night, Dallas is a really beautiful city at night. It really is. But these are these are housing solutions because we're really running out of space to build equitable housing, quality housing. So anyway, let me see. There's a few more things I wanted to get to. I know I have a tendency to go on really long in my videos, so here's more of the same. Now a lot of these are just stock fixtures that you can get out of Lowe's and Home Depot. So there's really not a lot of thought behind any of this. And, once again, you decorate them. These, at least, I guess you can decorate a little. You have a little bit more freedom to decorate. These are not quite as small, but they're pretty small. These are roomier. However, I wanted to show you, at least there's some color, but the other ones I showed you use the same color scheme. The ones in Austin had the same yellow and black, you guys, hive colors. These are colors of a bee, a yellow jacket. Look at that. Wasp, a stinging wasp. Why these colors everywhere? They're just like the basic color scheme. But look at this. Does this not look kind of like a comb? Like a beehive comb where they put the honey? It's really all, it's that mindset. And I'm just wondering, even the flooring here, the checkered, everything's checkered. Over here, same thing. triple panels. It's got the same motif. These colors are just really reminding me of bees, and same ones going out into this lobby. The lucite ends to these chairs. Round gold, round red. So it's gold, red, black. I'm spending way too much time here, you guys. I know that I am. So I'm going to move on. Here's the pool. There's something that kind of causes me anxiety just looking at this. How people are living. Look at this courtyard. Here we go again. Looking a little sigil magic right there. All seeing eye. Am I going out on a limb with the all seeing eye and the red chairs around the altar here? I mean, does this not look a little bit like an altar? Excuse me. It looks a little like an altar. I'm not sure what in the world is going on here, but I don't I don't want to be there. There's a fitness room, blah blah blah, tiny units, and I've had enough really. I've had enough of this place. So I had to check, you know how I am. I have to check the zip code crime rate while everybody's latte dying around here. Seven five two oh one. Here we go. F. You guys have got an F. Crime rate. They got an F. A big fat F. Here's the breakdown, you guys, of the crime over here at the Moreau. He'd probably roll over on in his grave if he knew about this. Okay, here's the crime rate. The top crimes are assault, robbery, rape, and murder. Mainly assault and robbery. Mainly assault and robbery. Nearby zip codes of 75201 all get an F. And crime maps and rates for zip with similar populations. We're going into New York again. We're back in New York, the Big Apple, which gets an F all the way around. And that zip code, 11693. South Carolina, Pennsylvania, Oregon. It says that this particular zip code, you guys, once again, is less safe than the Texas state average and less safe than the national average. Can you believe that? Because it's true. It's true. Crime stats, you guys, these crime stats are not fabricated. This is the real deal. This is the world we're living in. That's Dallas, you guys. That's Dallas. And these lovely apartments that you're going to spend with hardly any square footage, those apartments you're going to pay that much money to live in one of the most crime-ridden, violent areas where they're trying to move everybody. And of course, I had to go look at this, and a viewer brought this to my attention. I want to give you a shout out, but I don't know if you want me to do that or not. I would give you a shout out. Just let me know in the comments if you want me to give you a shout out, because I looked up the agenda, and it did say the stack and pack. And I've read this before. I read it probably 2 years ago. This was posted well, this was posted in 2020. Let me go back. I don't know how to get back to the one I was looking at. And it was talking about the smart living agenda. Here, let's see. Here it is. I found it. When I saw that, I thought about one of my viewers. And so I had to click on it and see what they had to say about it, because this is just commonplace, you guys. It's really not a bad word, but it is in a way. It says this is the fourth lesson. It's called Smart Growth, Lesson 4. This is the fourth lesson in a series of 10 lessons on Agenda 21, commonly known as Sustainable Development. And it's how smart growth strategies are used to control human behavior within the human settlement. You know, that's kind of weird in and of itself, the human settlement as opposed to what other settlement is there. And it says one of the goals of Agenda 21 is to rewild over 50%, plus an additional 10% for buffer zones around the rewilded areas, Brave New World, of the United States. Out of necessity, this will force the human population off the rural lands and into, using Agenda 21 language, human settlements. Once there, the behavior of humans can be more easily monitored and controlled, thus creating sustainability. So when I went back to school, I went and got another degree in basically something that I don't want to give the exact title, but it was in basically a geodetic type of earth science, and basically earth science, meteorology, that along those lines. And that's all they could talk about. And that was in the early 2000s, was sustainability. And I know I can't go too deep on that subject here on YouTube, but it wasn't really the word that I thought it was meant to be. And I kept hearing that word, and it was just common in the vernacular. So I think we all know what the plan is, basically, is to move everybody back to the cities. And I don't want to get too hung up on all that, because I think everybody kind of knows. And if they don't, it's a plan, and God above is the one that'll ultimately either give the okay on it or not. It says this article explains, this is called Smart Growth Fraud. It was written by Dr. Michael Kaufman. The same Dr. Kaufman showed the Biodiversity Wildlands Project map to the Senate in '94, and by doing so stopped the ratification of the Biodiversity Treaty. This article explains why moving the American citizen or any other country's citizens into stack and pack living conditions in the human settlements is not a good thing either for the citizen or the environment. So I am going to let you have a look at this yourself. Uh, this goes against everything I believe that the platform possibly. If I speak out on this, then I could probably get into some trouble. So I'm going to leave this alone. If you want to look it up, look up Michael, Michaels, as in Sam, middle initial Kaufman, Coffman, the smart growth fraud. So good luck with that in Texas. But you know what? The people down here are pretty compliant in many ways too. They're pretty compliant. I think people in general everywhere are really compliant. Okay, let me see. I'm going to move on from that. I was just curious as to what era technically we're living in, geologically, and it said the Cenozoic. So our current era is the Cenozoic, which is itself broken down into 3 periods. We live in the most recent period, the Quaternary. which is then broken down into two epochs, the current Holocene and the previous Pleistocene, which ended 11,700 years ago. Well, Holocene is really interesting to me because I immediately kind of think of holograph. And it says that we're living in a new age. Geologists say we're living in a new age. So the Holocene, let me see if it pulls up the Holocene. Let me just take a quick pick at the Holocene era if I can. I think I darked out my, with this thing. I may not be able to look into it. Hang on one second. I may have to do that for the next video, you guys. I'm going to check out Holocene for the next video. I was really hoping that I could go to the Holocene era. Let me check this out. Oh, here it is. Here it is. What era are we in? Geologists have redefined the present age that human civilization is living in, deciding to call the last 4,200 years the Megalayan Age. This new classification will help scientists better understand the events of the last few thousand years. That looks like a Viking sailing ship right there. I'm a Viking, by the way, you guys. I just found out through my DNA analysis. That's a whole nother video. I just recently found out that I'm not anything that the adoption home said I was. And I was like, I was kind of really glad. I don't know, none of that stuff matters that much, but I come from a Viking heritage. So anywho. So here is something about the Holocene age. It began at the end of the last ice age, when glaciers started retreating. In that time, humans learned how to farm, build cities, and started launching rockets into space. Gosh, from the ice age to rockets. From a human perspective, the end of the Holocene looks very different from the beginning, but has much geologically really changed. So I found this kind of interesting since the nation is in, actually globally, I believe we're in a really bad drought, but I know here in America, we're in a really severe drought. And Lake Mead and Lake Powell are at their lowest levels, I think I believe in 28 years. I'll have to get the exact stats on that. However, I can't do it with the way I've got this set up, but it said that a devastating drought lasted for 100 years and caused the collapse of civilizations around the world and ended Egypt's pyramid building in the Old Kingdom. And that the drought can be seen in stalagmites in India, where the lower monsoon levels are represented by changes in oxygen isotopes. And that global nature of the drought, the permanent record visible in rock layers, and the lasting effects of life on Earth mean that this moment in history is enough to qualify as the beginning of a new age. Not to be confused with new agey stuff, I would imagine. So I had wanted to end, when I started out about showing you Demon Seed, I wanted to read a few verses about the devices. Everybody in our devices, it's nothing new in the Bible. And some of these are really fascinating. And then I'm going to end because I'm coming up at over 40 minutes, which I just can't believe I can talk for that long. So these are just kind of words that I'm going to leave y'all with. Bible verses about Satan's devices. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should take advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. John 8:44, you are of your father the devil, and the desires of your father you want to do. He was a murderer from the beginning. Ephesians, let's see, Here we go. This is what I'm going to leave y'all with. Ephesians 6:10-13. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in this evil day, and having done all, to stand.